What's up, Trekkies? So, hi. Yeah, it's Tuesday. We do actually have a little bit of news, but they seem to be staying a little bit more cryptic about their stuff recently in the news articles. There's a new featured episode that's coming out on the 13th, so Thursday. That's going that with, it's called Butterfly. It's got Nog in it. It's probably going to be the end of the line, considering we have, again, another announcement, Season 11, New Dawn. Now, I'm speculating that they're going to tear the Klingon thing they're going to tear the Klingon thing apart with the Alliance stuff. They may not. We're going to go back to exploring. Okay, that's cool. That's nice. We got a lot of new sector space that has nothing in it, and I watched the trailer, and the link will be below in case you haven't seen it. It says, take command of your inactive starships to complete dangerous assignments and gather exciting rewards. My inactive starships, does that mean I have to equip them now? I mean, they're kind of equipped, but they don't have consoles on them. Each starship is given special traits and stats. I don't know. It says, with advancing your influence in the Admiralty campaigns, which I guess is more duty officers, but perhaps akin to WoW's Shipyard, I guess? I don't know. These games are moving with each other just in their own spin. That's just how things work. I mean, look at television shows. Mirror Lita will be coming back, so that might be pretty cool. I can see them definitely opening up the Gamma Quadrant a little bit. 1 or 2 sectors, so we can maybe get into some Dominion stuff again. I don't know, because we haven't really explored it, because for a long time we go to the other side of the wormhole and it's like, bam, Dominion. Oh, well, shit. That's that. Another thing, real quick, apparently the Krenim Dreadnought promo, which is Anarax's ship. I wouldn't mind having that ship. The Delta Alliance duty officer, did I read up on that ship? It's a science dreadnought. Has built-in Chronoton lance. I'd like it. The thing is I gotta go through the Delta Alliance duty officer pack, and I'm like, I don't know if I want to keep buying that stuff over and over. I have enough in-game cash, I'd just buy it off the exchange, because it's a great science ship, but Jesus. It says here that the console, which is the temporal distortion universal console, is a passive boost to exotic damage, and it may only be equipped on that ship. It basically creates a temporal distortion that causes your ship to partially phase out of time. While in this state, your starship gains significantly increased flight speed and turn rate. In addition, the distortion causes the starship to become immune to energy damage, but also deal less energy damage as the duration of the effect. When your starship returns to normal space, it will create a temporal disturbance that will cause moderate amount of anti-proton damage, hold enemies, and reduce... it's great. Additionally, upon reaching level 5, the mastery, time to kill, when slotted, this trait will provide a boost to all damage each time you activate a science bridge officer ability. This buff stacks 3 times. But it's pretty cool. Built-in Chronoton lance, devastating weapon. A lance is cool. I love lances. They're always crit. They're just like beam overload. Right. No dreadnought would be complete without a hangar bay. Anarax is no exception. Awesome. Each Delta Alliance pack will include 4 common or better, 2 uncommon or better, 1 rare or better, and a bonus item. Bonus items available are 1 new starship traits, a set of 4 fleet modules, stack of embassy, dilithium, or spire provisions, and a stack of Gamma Quadrant commodities. So that's that. Hopefully this ship will be able to be sold on the exchange, because I'm poor. I kind of want this ship. But... yeah, that's it. It's we got a Tales of War, that's pretty cool. New featured episode, and basically a new season. So that's that. I was switching back over to Star Trek to explain just little tips and tricks, because I know people are drastically new to the game. I did not mean to activate Quantum Slipstream. Alright, let's get away from most systems there. So, I've seen, at least I've heard people talk about, at least while I was still in Armada chat, about skills. They're not hard to understand. They're pretty, it says in the description what it affects, unless if it doesn't affect any specific skill, or if it doesn't affect an ability, it just affects, all energy damage. Such as the Starship energy weapon damage. It's just flat weapons of cannons and beams. It doesn't affect fire at will. It says here that tactical captains who learn 6 ranks of this will unlock training manuals for fire at will and cannon rapid fire. Flow capacitors. There's a list. 3 things that it affects. Shield emitters. 4 things it affects. Shield systems. It says it is Starship Shield strength. It is pure shield hit point. Understanding them is not that big a deal. I mean, it can be a bit confusing at times, especially when you got weird words like in science, like probability logistics, but it still has examples of things that get used with it. And you can also go into filter contributing to selected power and just uncheck everything else. And under like your bridge officer, like I've got Golreku here, and I can select any of his abilities, like Gravity Well 3, trained, available, unavailable, unclick those. And it tells me the only things that contribute to it are Starship Graviton generators and particle generators. And let me show you.
It only shows these. It's up here in the filter, contributing to selected power. You just uncheck the rest of these. And you can go through jam targeting sensors, countermeasure systems, medical tricorder. If you have medic, it affects his thing. It's just like, you go down all of his stuff. Subspace Vortex, Tachyon Beam 3. You know, it just bounces around all of these places. So, and you can do this on yourself too, with like Nanoprobe Infestation, Scientific Aptitude. You know, and there's just some things that, you know, Seismic Agitation Field, Particle Physics. And if you go to your ship, your consoles will be on here, and like your ship abilities, like Subnuke, not affected by anything but aux power. Sensor Scan, Starship sensors. And all your weapons will be on here too. This thing's freaking out on me. Or your console set bonus things. Your torpedo. See? Graviton generators, particle generators. My gravimetric photon torpedo is affected by science abilities. That's how I know I love it. Multi-graviton shield. Again, graviton generators because it has a repel, and particle generators because it does damage. Quantum field focus phaser, affected by particle generators, but not anything else.
So that's going on with that. Another thing that, you know, you can tweak out with these things, and it's great, and you figure out what it is and what you actually want. Another thing about skills is when people say max, I certainly hope they mean 6 points. Because while I will be the first to say that I do have one ability, one skill that's into the red. One. Alright? I swore I had a second one. Nope. Okay. I just have one. And it's my probability logistics because that affects tachyon harmonic, neural neutralizer, electrogravitic field. I probably should like spec them down and swap because I use more hyperonic radiation and exothermic induction field, and I use particle physics more than I use probability logistics, but I could just probably swap those because I have retraining tokens. Anyways, now the reason why I say this is because it's math, pure math. The first 3 points, or the first 3 levels, add 18 skill points to your abilities, and they cost, depending on the level, like column 1, they cost 1,000, 1,500, 2,000, 2,500, 3,000. So they go up in power as, you know, and in importance, like Starship Auxiliary and Starship Weapon Performance and Starship Armor reinforcements are way at the top at Admiral, but like Driver Coil's way at the bottom because, you know, and yes, you do need to put some points in things that are good. But if you don't really know what you want your ship to do, it's best to kind of put points up into it that go up to about 6. Because the math as it goes is it's 18, 18, 18, 10, 10, 10, 5, 5, 5. And it's 5, 5, 5, 5. It says right there. So you're spending, let's just say, something that's really popular amongst science officers, particle generator. So you get 18 points for the first 3, 10 points for the next. That's 84 points. That's really good, but... And it's like, well, particle generators is necessary. Well, yes, but you could probably also put some points in, you know, Starship sensors, which will affect your sensor scan if you're a science officer, and fire on my mark even for like tactical officers. FYI, if you start putting things into the red for particle generators, you're gonna get 5 points for 2,000 of your skill point cost. Whereas Starship sensors is 2,500. You could put 1 point in there if you don't have any points in it and get 18 for a little bit less. And it's just a diminishing returns that unless you have an absolute crap ton, or you are going to highly specialize whatever you're doing, like Starship Energy Weapon. I do not the greatest amount of damage. I will say that. I don't. I'm a science vessel, and I play very, very heavy science. I don't do a lot of damage, but I still have 6 points in energy weapons because I still use like 6 energy weapons. 5 energy weapons, and I put a little bit into projectiles because I always love a torpedo. They're fun. But I only have 3 points in projectiles and 6 points in energy weapons. I don't put anything any higher except for probability logistics. It's best to kind of boost things all over your ship rather than focus, because I saw a guy in our fleet that just had everything in tactical systems maxed except for Starship Stealth. And I think I brought this up before. And he was a science vessel. He was a science officer. And he didn't have anything in science because he'd already spent all his skill points. Like, energy weapon specialization. It's great. You use your weapons. It's great. I have 3 points in it because it's great. But when you're spending the red level in that, you're spending 15,000 skill points on 15 increase. Whereas you could probably, I understand that it's a crit H and crit D increase. You could probably go down and put down stuff in for 15,000, you could put 6 full points into warp core potential. Like that's 2, so that's 2 times 6, so that's 12,000 for Starship warp core potential. And that will just grant flat bonus to your weapons. So I don't know if this is making any sense math-wise. There's probably a lot of people that this does make sense, but there's a lot of new players that just don't see the math part of this. That mean that red at pretty much any level, even down at the driver coil lieutenant level, is really, it's actually kind of wasteful for skill points for an increase. You'll get that extra 15 that you'll get from going in the red, you'll get as you level up and put in consoles, and you can put in multiple consoles. Like if you really, really, really want flow capacitors, an extra 15 when you're already dealing with like 150 is not going to hurt. As a side note right now, like I said, I have 6 points in flow capacitors. So let me go over to my ship, stats, science skills. I have 116 in flow capacitors right now because of my consoles. And I have 1 console that has it. Right. Yes. I have 1 console that has 32 in it, 31.9. Nothing else really affects it that I know of. Nope, particle generators. Nope. I thought maybe something else did it, but no, that's it. I've got that and that. My shield systems is 123. My particle generators is 135. I have more consoles with particle generators in it, but I'm just gonna leave that at that because skills seem to be complicated to a lot of new players, but they're really not. So I'm just gonna leave that there. I will chat with you guys later. If you have any questions about the skill system or like specifically what certain skills do what, because they seem kind of confusing, ask below. I'll do a Q&A on like skill systems and how the root of all this stuff works. Not a problem. I love explaining things, but the problem is I'm just not very good at just blindly explaining anything randomly. A good direction is great to go because then I have at least some sort of like structure or outline of what to say. Because, perfect nerd, and I will just, as this video has shown. I will chat with you guys tomorrow. Next week if you only watch Trek Tuesdays. Tomorrow if you watch the vlogs. Alright?